Hello there everybody, how are you doing? I hope you're all doing very well indeed. This is Matt Tomato here and welcome back to Emperor! This is the EU4 playthrough as what was England, but is now Great Britain. So this is going to be the first full episode as Great Britain! So, things are going very, very well so far. At the end of the last episode we snagged a bit of land from Portugal down here. So we're trying to wipe out some of our potential colonial threats later on. Castile obviously looks like they're going to die. Portugal obviously we're slowly on course to kill them here as well. Blocking off Aragon a bit here. Of course, they're our friends, but obviously for Aragon to then get exploration, you know, it's an increased colonial range for them. And of course, we have the Union over France, which we have begun the integration. So, and of course, again over here, as some people have mentioned, I always tend to try and gain a foothold in Scandinavia. Whenever I play in this region, and so we've done that as well. So people like Denmark might have a little bit of a tough time, and then of course the Netherlands over here. We've sort of taken that coastline. We still have that centre of reformation that we want to be converting, which is something we're definitely going to want to do. So yeah, most colonial possibilities for the Europeans have been just about taken care of, which means we may potentially have a free hand at going down the exploration route to then go and colonise over in the New World. So the New World might actually look rather interesting by the time we get there and by the time we start colonising, because Portugal has already made it there. They do have a colony, I think. But otherwise, yeah, they do have a colony in Caribas. But that's going to be pretty easy to take care of, and eventually we might take enough of Portugal that they might decide to declare an independence war, which again could be interesting, but Portugal is not that strong anymore anyway, so I don't really think it's not going to be that much, and eventually they're not going to have enough money to expand either, so that colony that they have might end up expanding, but apart from that, not too much is going to happen. So, so the other thing we're doing here is we are converting the Dutch to try and prevent some of the rebellion, where it's here, isn't it? Or is it here? Ah, no, I think is this it here? Yeah, it's here. We are actually in the process of converting that Centre of Reformation, that's right. It has been a couple of days since I've played, so I'm just trying to get a hand on where we were, basically. So let's go ahead and unpause. So we came out of the war with Portugal. I'm just wondering whether there may be... So they have a royal marriage with Austria, but I'm just wondering whether there might be a possibility to attack Brittany over here, unless we have a truce. I can't remember. We do. We have a truce for another 9 years. Okay. The next truce to expire is Castile in 1523, but I'm not too sure they're going to exist after that. In which case, we might want to go in against Granada and take some of this land across here. Alternatively, we might possibly... No, I don't think we can announce Morocco as a rival at all, because they're quite big, but this is quite low development provinces over here, so they're probably not eligible to be a rival. The other thing to take into consideration is we do have France in the Union, so we're a hell of a lot stronger than Morocco. So, we are working our way along here, so we've got the quest for the New World, Colonial Ventures. Ah, yes, yes, that is correct. We have a fleet that's currently exploring. That is right. Okay, jolly good. Right. So we're going to want to do some exploration with that fleet as we're going along here. Are there any other culture conversions? Possibly, but I don't think I really want to do that because we do want to sink most of our... We're ahead of time on Diplo, but we want to be sinking our points into those exploration ideas over here. Right, so we have finished exploring over this way. Rightful ownership. Sure, you can have it. Right. Explore. Right, so we want to look at the North Atlantic, I think is what we want to look at here. Because we're going to look at colonising the North American area, because mostly we have a complete free hand over that. But also, we got trade nodes like Chesapeake Bay and stuff like that, which are obviously directly linked to the English Channel node. So we're going to want to colonise there first to start increasing our riches. So that there are a couple of trade nodes that come in here. So yeah, it's this one here, I think, that comes across from Chesapeake Bay and makes its way over here. But there's also a trade node, the northern trade node. I can't remember. Is it St. Lawrence? Gulf of St. Lawrence that comes into the North Sea. So we're going to want to colonize over there as well to funnel more trade over to the North Sea to then bring it down over here into the English Channel. So still plenty to do there. And of course, we should have a free hand at colonizing. So we're making good money here. We could potentially drop some inflation, which is not necessarily the worst idea in the world. It's going to pick up later on, isn't it? So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and drop our inflation nice and low here, because as we attack people and things, our inflation's gonna go up. So it's probably worthwhile to do that. The other thing we have is we're quite far ahead on military here, and we have a lot of military points. We did embrace the colonialism institution, so we're all good there. So the printing press is the next one. But I think we're probably just going to look to develop up a little bit here. So if we start using this to develop some manpower in certain provinces. So in particular, we can maybe look at developing some provinces like this one up to 10 development, which I think is good. So here, Hampshire, straight away, get that up to 10 development. It improves the spread of institutions later in the game. So it's got to be worthwhile to do that. So 6... yeah, okay, 3, that's not particularly, 10 development, we got 6. So anything that's at 8 or 9, basically, is definitely worth developing up. 7 is, tolerable, I suppose. Yeah, quite a lot of these are already 10 development, so that's pretty good. We got a 20 development province up there in Lothian, which is very helpful. So yeah, this one here and this one here, for example. Let's go ahead and dump some points. Of course, it's a little bit more expensive to dump points in over here because of the Highlands, but that's okay because we're looking at spending these points anyway. So yeah, if we can go up to 10 development in a lot of these provinces, it's just going to facilitate the spread of institutions later in the game. So we do have is it the missionary strength dude? Yeah, that he's very, very important, so we need him to be able to convert this. So how are we doing here? We're about 55% of the way there. And so yeah, if we can convert that, then I think that'll consolidate our status as a Catholic country, which it seems to be where we want to be heading, I think. It does seem to be where we want to be. I think we do want to be Catholic here, just because of the Curie influence, but also because we've got France here, and a lot of the land we're going to be taking is Catholic. Now, there are a lot of advantages to going Protestant, of course there are, but because a lot of the land that we're going to be taking here is going to be Catholic. So eventually we're probably going to backstab Aragon at some point, because we do still have the alliance with Austria, but we are probably going to look for another ally. Possibly Poland, but then Austria hates them, so that's not necessarily the right way to go. Could be somebody like Bohemia, but then, yeah, because they're allied with Austria anyway. So also Bohemia hates Denmark, which we're probably going to look to attack into at some point. Sweden is free. They're friends with Muscovy. They hate Austria as well, so it makes sense to stay allied with Austria here because we're going to go and attack some of their enemies. So we'll get a declared war on enemy modifier for anybody we go into. And of course, that alliance with Muscovy might not hold because we're not sure about because eventually they're going to be eligible rivals. So let's go North Atlantic coast here, because they're eventually going to rival each other, I'm sure. Who's gone bankrupt here? Trebizond has gone bankrupt. Well, it sucks to be them. So yeah, Truce to Castile, and of course we could eventually maybe make our way over to the Maghreb. That being said, the religion differences could be quite difficult to handle because we don't have religious ideas. Now, it has been mentioned that maybe I could have gone religious ideas, which I do tend to do in quite a lot of playthroughs because it is such a strong idea group. But you know, I wanted to vary it up a little bit. Also, combining innovative and quality was quite nice. The 10% infantry combat ability policy, which really helped. Really helped. So, but yeah, so we've had to fork out a fair bit to convert this Centre of Reformation. But obviously, this has a 5% malus to conversion speed and stuff like that. Whereas normal provinces won't have that malus. So Sunni has a malus of -2, for example, whereas that one's -5. So the -2 can be counteracted with a missionary strength advisor. So it's not exactly, it's not going to be too difficult, I don't think. American East Coast is what we're going to want to look at, I think. Because we're starting to come over here. We might want to colonize over here to start with in this area to get a little bit of foothold for colonial range. We might want to start by colonizing over there. That is definitely a thing. Now, we do actually have quite a bit of money here, and we do... yeah, we're probably going to want to do that. We do need to get the colonists first. But I think we could put ourselves into a position where that's quite a tenable thing to do. So if I start... let's get 4 units of infantry here. I do tend to go with the aggression policy for natives, but I don't know. We'll look into it. We'll look into it. Okay, yeah, we also have Nevers as a subject, of course. They do have some permaclaims in and around here. France has some cores, but if we feed it to Nevers, then we're not gonna pick up those really annoying little events where they'll demand cores back in return and stuff like that, which is obviously what's been happening here. Okay, the ruler is dead. Okay, so Trash Can has come to the throne. He is only 24, so hopefully we should be okay for getting an heir. We also have the fertile trait over there, so we should be in a good position for that. So let's bring home the guy. Actually, let's bring home the guy from France here. We don't need him there at the moment. We are, of course, overextended. So, right, the royal marriage with Portugal has gone, which means we're back down to our regular 4 of 4 diplo relation slots here. Excellent. So we now have an empress consort from Austria, which is what I wanted. That's why I got that royal marriage first. Of course, yeah. I think we upgraded to Empire, didn't we? I think that was what we did. Yeah, we upgraded to Empire. We reached 1,000 development. Nevers. Oh, right, yeah, we can get a royal marriage with our subject here. I don't see why not. I suppose I could have done that instead, but... oh, they've actually gone and sent me a request anyway, which is lovely. So... Austrian Aragon. Right, okay, so let's use the final diplomat here. So let's pick up this one. Let's go allies. Let's do a little tour of our allies here, Austria and Aragon. But yeah, eventually we are going to backstab Aragon at some point. Although I imagine they're going to probably get pretty cranky anyway, because they're going to run out of land to attack. Ooh, oh my god. 300, like, why would I not do that? That is amazing. 300 power points for 300, yeah. So, oh, my alarm's going off. Oh no! I forgot to turn my alarm off. Wonderful. Right. So we do have good monies here. We might want to consider maybe investing in some taxation and stuff like that, or trade, or even building some more shipyards, because there's lots and lots of shipyards to be built here. And I think, whoops, yeah, we've got a lot of naval force limit right now. So what do we got? So this is our new little colonial army that will obviously be a thing. Actually, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's go ahead and build 4 transports to be able to freely move these guys around. Let's do that. So we'll have a colonial army, a small colonial army to start with, and then we'll have a colonial set of transports to be able to ferry them around without moving the existing transport fleet. We could potentially build a couple more heavies and that sort of jazz, which might be a good idea. Let's throw in a couple more heavies, and I'll also build 3 more galleys as well. Let's keep up with the galleys. I think they're going to be very useful later on, especially when battling people. Oh, really? Ugh. It's only 5 years, though. It's not the end of the world. Obviously, when attacking people like Aragon that have a fair number of galleys, in fact, they got 5 heavies in there as well. That's a decent fleet. Now, of course, we are the British, so we have those wonderful ideas that help us out here. The heavy ship combat ability is a big one. So, morale of navies as well, pretty huge. So, definitely going to want to take advantage of that. So if we can smack up a few heavies here, then obviously coming in here, we'll have a better chance at fighting the galleys in the inland seas with the combat ability. So, and I think we also, because we took quality ideas as well, so we're going to get the ship durability and extra morale of navies as well, which is obviously exceptionally helpful. So we have you know, 30% extra morale of navies to start with going into battles. So obviously the Aragonese have their galley combat ability as well. So their galleys are quite strong. They've also got the naval force limit modifier in there. So interestingly enough, though, Aragon does not have an heir currently. And we may actually end up with our dynasty on their throne, which could be very interesting. Now, he is only 39, so there's a good chance of an heir there, but that is an interesting possibility. The other thing is that Andalusian culture over there is rather interesting. We can also take a Splendor Power, so this is the first one of the Age of Reformation, so that's a pretty good one that allows the State Edict. The blockade impact on siege, war score cost against other religions could be rather nice. Merc discipline, trade power propagation. To be honest though, I rather like the idea of the prestige gain from conversions. I rather like that. The war score cost against other religions is kind of good, but no, I think I'm going to go ahead and grab the prestige gain from converting provinces. We'll also gain a massive amount of prestige anyway for converting this centre of Reformation here. So that's going to be really, really good. I'm going to go ahead and increase the speed a little bit here, actually. I'm going to go up to speed 4. I realise the position of my camera is actually covering the speed. Right, they do have some rebels over here in Aragon, but their army is big enough to be able to deal with that, so they're unlikely. They also did get an heir anyway, so there's nothing we can do there, really. Brittany Anne's back, yeah. We did also get our dynasty on the Brunswickian throne. I remember that. So that was interesting. Now, we don't actually have a royal marriage there anymore, which is interesting because it means we can actually claim the throne and stuff like that. But I think we do have to actually have a royal marriage in order to claim the throne. But it could be an interesting move to actually try and maybe get a personal union or something in the HRE. We would, of course, incur the wrath of Austria should that happen. Let's do American East Coast, the actual coastline. I think we actually would have the colonial range to colonise there because of Iceland. Pretty sure we would. So how come this hasn't been passed here? What's happening over this way? Are people not backing the? There's also an elector missing. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Wow, how many 17k stacks does France have here? That's ridiculous. Gee whiz. Okay. They have 3%, they have 59,000 troops. That is pretty ridiculous. I don't think we need to enable embargo rivals because trade nodes aren't really shared here. Although embargoing Muscovy could be interesting, but not really because we're drawing trade from over there as opposed to them drawing trade from us, so it doesn't really matter that much. Looks like Castile's holdings over here in the Maghreb have disappeared. So Castile has been reduced to about 3 or 4 provinces now. So much so that they're able to rival Granada. The Green Hills of Delaware. Natives in Delaware lose 5 aggressiveness. Okie dokie. Right, so we obviously have discovered some things over here. So we've caught some of those Portuguese provinces. We can now see what's going on over here. So, as we said, Chesapeake Bay. Oh no, the Gulf of St. Lawrence comes over here to Bordeaux, which is interesting, which could again help us. But yeah, Chesapeake Bay is this one here. This one, yeah. So we want to be colonising over here really. But then yeah, if we can colonise in the Gulf of St. Lawrence as well, then there's a trade node here that moves across over here to the North Sea. So either way, that's okay. Yeah, so we'll try and colonise over here. We'll just sort of work our way along the coast and see how we get on, basically. I think we've completed the mission to discover the New World. Yeah, we go. Discover the Americas. So we get Settler Chance and 50 Diplo points. But what we want to do is we want to take that when we're ready to colonise. Because at the moment we're not ready to colonise. We don't have a colonist. So we'll hold off on that for a little while longer. The other thing we'll be able to get is we'll be able to get some debates in the British Parliament here, where we can increase our global. We can get the global settler increase, is what I meant to say. So we can take those decisions as well to further help out our colonial adventure here, because we're not going to be as strong as people like Portugal when it comes to colonising, because they have colonial national ideas. The Council of Trent. We may now choose a position on the Council of Trent. Okay. Glory Road. 1 base tax in Nascapi. Okay, sure. The Papal State tell us of the Reformation of the Catholic Church. Council will be convened in Trent to discuss how best to reform the Church to meet the challenge of the Reformers and begin the process of Counter-Reformation. Okie doke. So, we can take the embrace the Counter-Reformation policy here. Sorry, the national decision, which is kind of interesting because we gain a pile of missionaries, but also we get the missionary strength against heretics. Austria likes me as well, and I think we're going to take this. I think we are going to stay Catholic here. And more importantly as well, the missionary strength against heretics, I believe, yes, gives us missionary strength against Protestants, which is obviously going to be excellent for this. So that's going to be really good. We now have, of course, extra missionaries to play with for a little while. 638 for Amsterdam, but of course we can't convert that because it's got a religious zeal. So that's going to be useful later on. It's gonna be a while before that's actually useful, these extra missionaries. But eventually, if we start taking Protestant land, or even if we were to take some of the Maghreb over here, Brittany has changed their stance to a harsh stance. Okay, fair enough. Okay. Granada has declared on Castile. Looks like Castile is going to die here. So, yeah, we've got this one. So, Council of Trent. Missionary strength, institution spread, resistant to Reformation, opinion of heretics. Okay. Or conciliatory, which is lowers missionary strength but improve relations. Right, okay. So we're probably going to want to grab the harsh measures then. Yeah, I think we're going to want to do that. Extra missionary strength. Now, the institution spread is a bit of a shame, but the resistance to Reformation is going to be good. So yeah, we're going to go with the harsh stance here. That's what we're going to take here. So we want the missionary strength. We want to be quite strong in terms of our missionary strength here. And it's already pretty decent at 8.5. So we're going to be able to convert that centre of Reformation there, which is really, really good. So we've decided we're going to stay Catholic here. So if we take a look at this, so there's a centre of Reformation here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so they're the Protestant ones. And then the 3 Reformed ones are all in northern Italy. So Austria might end up converting here because there is a centre of Reformation there as well. So I feel like Austria is going to actually convert here, which is obviously bad news for us. Right, so we've obviously done that coast there. Caribbean Sea, I suppose. Yeah, let's do the Caribbean Sea. Let's have a look at Portugal's colonies and see how they're doing. It might be good to be able to see what's going on there. Okay, we've actually got an idle diplomat there. Excellent! Right, so conversion successful. The Protestant Centre of Reformation has disappeared, which is great stuff. Okay. Nevers is actually being converted here to Reformed. And so that means that the country as a whole might end up switching to Reformed, which is a little bit bad for us. But fair enough, what can you do? But yeah, deleting that Centre of Reformation is excellent news. Hopefully there's not that bug that we had in one of the previous patches when it got released, where the Centres of Reformation respawned everywhere. That was really annoying. I remember that was in my Austria playthrough. I think it was 1.23, where Centres of Reformation just randomly respawned all the time, and it never went away. And that was really horrible when I tried to play that Austria playthrough. Okay, good. Some good... Oh, Austria! Right, Austria is going to switch. I think that's a given now. Austria is going to switch to Reformed or Protestantism. I think that is going to happen. Any boosts? Manpower boosts? Could be interesting. Coastal. I might take that that plus 17 there, though. Some of the taxation. I'll grab that. Yeah, let's go with that. Looks like these peasants are going to attack the Dutch army there, which is kind of funny. Don't see why they did that. Let's okay, yeah. Let that happen. That's fine. Truce. So yeah, Granada is actually attacking Castile here. That would have been our next target for expansion, 1523. So obviously that probably won't happen. That being said, did I fabricate any claims here? I already have 2 claims, yeah, right. So Granada is likely to take those provinces, which means they have no allies currently, but which means you might be able to go in over there straight away and attack them, although I'm quite surprised Aragon hasn't gone in here. So what do I want to do with this diplomat? Do I want to fabricate further claims over here, or do I need to? I don't think so. Could we fabricate some claims on Sweden? We only have one claim. Let's go ahead and let's aggravate Sweden a little bit here. Right, excellent. Let's build a spy network. Also, we have positive spy network construction over there. Let's fabricate a few more claims in that direction, which is going to be very, very helpful. So, yeah, okay. I'm just looking around for possible subjects as well. I don't think there aren't any. Oh, Morocco has declared reconquest on Portugal. Very interesting. Okay, so Morocco is going to grab its holdings back, probably over in the Maghreb. It might even take a province or two over here. That's fine. It's just weakening Portugal even further, so they're not going to be able to colonise anymore. Our ships are down here at the moment. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so yeah, it's over here. There's Caribas over that way. So I don't think they've even got Havana or anything like that. So that colony isn't even worth a lot currently. So they might be doing more colonising, but I don't think they'll be doing much more after that war with Morocco. Land or technology... Okay, we'll lose the military points here, that's fine. We do have a lot of military points. We're also massively ahead of time, so that is not the end of the world. Right, okay, but I'm going to end this episode right here, so that's it for now. Cheers for watching, guys. This has been Mr. Fatty Tomato. This has been a relatively quiet episode so far, but I think in the next couple of episodes things are going to pick up, and we're going to start going to war again. But that's it, so cheers for watching. Be sure to subscribe to follow the series, and join me next time for more Emperor here as Great Britain in EU4.